What's up, everyone? Welcome to the show. Today, we are talking about GEO in action. GEO is one of the many terms that people are using for showing up in AI chats like ChatGPT and so on. And what I'm going to show you today is how I got a 451% increase in ChatGPT traffic so far this year on Legiit with real numbers and stuff. Now, this is going out to some cold audiences as well, so you may not know who I am. So if you do, be patient while I cruise through this. If not, let me just introduce myself. My name is Chris M. Walker. Now, why the M? That's because I believe in personal branding and SEO, and no matter what I did, I could not overcome SEO legend and internet powerhouse one-hit wonder 90s one-hit wonder Chris Walker. So I added the M to my name so I could stand out. This guy lost his son recently. Condolences to him. So a little bit of background. In 2013, I founded Superstar SEO. It is a SEO consulting firm agency. We sell SEO services, software, and SEO training. I have one of the oldest and most active SEO Facebook groups, and I've been doing it for 12 years now. But where most of you are going to know me from is Legiit, which I founded in 2018. We do 8 figures in revenue. We've helped thousands of clients. We've had 8 consecutive years of growth, tens of thousands of freelancers, and we're industry leaders and revolutionaries in combining marketplaces and AI technology. Now, enough about me. Let's talk about what we're here to talk about today. Why GEO? And if you wonder what GEO stands for, it stands for Generative Engine Optimization. Basically, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Gemini, the rest of them. And the truth is, I didn't really give this much thought as a potential for traffic and brand visibility for the first couple of years. ChatGPT dropped in, I want to say, October of 2022. And I really didn't pay it any attention until last year in August, when I noticed a whole 40 visitors from ChatGPT. I was like, well, that's cute, but I'm sure it's not going to amount to anything. And I didn't really give it much more thought until January of this year, when I noticed we were up to about 300 visitors from ChatGPT, all without me trying or putting in the effort to actually improve or get better or anything like that. It was just happening. Like organically, I guess would be the term. Why? There we go. So I decided at that point it was time for me to figure out how to do this on purpose. So that's what I decided to do. And to do that, I had to figure out how it works, because so far I'd been getting a little bit more traffic every single month, but I had no idea how. And I started it. So I started the way that most people start when they're trying to learn a new skill in 2025. I started testing various things and trying to figure out how GEO worked. And what I did was read lots of blog posts, social media posts, watch a bunch of videos, talk to lots of people, and listen to some seminars at conferences and things like that. And what I realized that everybody was talking about it, and that what everyone was talking about, or everyone that was talking about it, was clueless. Nobody really knew, even though they spoke confidently, no one actually knew what the fuck they were doing or how to get results consistently. And I knew that I needed to figure it out for real and not just believe it because somebody told me. So I decided the best place to get information on how this works was to go right to the source, to the LLMs themselves. And what do I mean by LLM? LLM stands for Large Language Model. That is what OpenAI, that's what Anthropic, that's what Gemini and so on are. Or at least that's the language, but the technology behind them, not the product itself so much. So I decided to go to them themselves and figure out, God, I cannot figure out how to title this properly. Figure out what they do. And I don't mean asking it. I don't mean going, hey, ChatGPT, although there is some value in that, but it'll lie to you. But I don't mean going, hey, ChatGPT, how do I show up in ChatGPT? No, what I did was I decided to learn how it how they think. So I think by doing that, I studied it and implemented and tested things for months. And I figured out there's 5 things that make GEO work. Okay. And we're going to talk about those today. But the way I've discovered them was literally watching it think. So I would type in for example, if you use O3 model in ChatGPT, you can just type in something and it'll literally show you its thought processes. And a large language model has a neural net the same way that you and I do. It has a brain that works and functions very similar to the human brain. And it will literally show you what it's thinking. It would be the equivalent of hearing someone's inner monologue. So watching it think, I learned a few things. And what I learned is it literally tells you what it searches to come up with the answers that it gives you on queries where it has to search the web. So to clear what I mean by that is some things it will give you its answer directly from its already accrued data set that it's scraped over up until a few months ago at any given time. But other times it has to go out to the web to get answers for the questions and the queries that you ask it. So what you can do is watch it think again, ask it a question or a query, and it'll show you exactly what it searched and to come up with that. And it's going to show you the sources that it searched, but we'll get back to that. But you can see I typed in what are the best sites for freelancers, and it searched the web for best freelance websites, 2025, top platforms, blah, 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 blah. That tells me that there's value there, okay? And then I did it again, and I searched for best freelance marketplaces, and it said, and it's disappointing to me, but it searched Fiverr stuff and so on. So this was a huge light bulb for me because it's such an obvious win, right? It literally tells you what it is it's looking for. So what you need to do is go out and dominate those terms. And here's a little thing that I learned at a conference last week. You don't have to rank number 1 or even page 1. You should, because it's good, but it looks at all 300 of the top results all at once. So even if you're on page like 7, it's still going to see you. So you don't have to like spend thousands of dollars trying to rank number 1 if a term is not worth it. You just have to exist. So that is step 1. I told you there were going to be 5 steps. The first one is to pull the search terms that it looks at and then make content and rank for those terms. And you don't even have to rank page 1. You just rank in search engines. Another little tip here is that OpenAI uses Bing search, so you can rank there and it's easier, but also Anthropic has its own search. So who knows how that works, but it should be pretty straightforward. So figure out what it searches for the prompts that you want to show up for and make content to rank for those terms. Okay, that is step 1. Watch it. So I'm still watching it think because, again, I find that is the number 1 source to figure out how this works. The next thing I learned to watch it by watching it think was it literally tells you what sites it looked at to get its answers. Okay, I briefly touched on that a moment ago, but what I mean by that is you can literally look at the sources. I don't know how well you can see that, but you can see here that particular search, it looked at Instagram, it looked at Medium, it looked at some blog, Everhour, a couple of blogs, Instagram, Reddit, and so on. And I tested this thousands and thousands of times to find the patterns and the sites that it likes. So what I found was a few things. These are the sources that I found that most often the LLMs will cite and look for information. Your own site. So if you're asking a question about your own brand, you can say, like if I was to say, does Legiit have a AI services or something? I don't know. It would look at my own site first. What works really well there is to have a public database of information. For us, it pulls from our help desk articles a lot, but there's lots of other ways you can go about that as well. Reddit, just like Google, they absolutely love Reddit and trust Reddit, especially if it's like informational type query. Medium, which is a blog platform. YouTube, obviously you're watching this, you know what YouTube is. Instagram, X, Twitter, LinkedIn, and so on. Those were the ones that it liked, but it also liked high authority news sites. And if you've been watching this channel, you know that we're in the middle of a study on that, but what you can get most of those from a press release. So, this was really exciting to me for a few reasons. One, I know what terms it likes and what sites it likes to look at for those terms, but also most of those sites are free, meaning you can post on those and optimize for those terms, and you'll have a good chance of it being picked up by the LLM. So that's great news for us. And even the ones that aren't free, many of them are attainable, like the news sites. And you can also do some blogger outreach and stuff like that. So what you do is you write some content for the terms that we found in step number 1, and then post that content to the sites that it tells you that it likes. See what we're doing here? You see the pattern that we're following? We are figuring out what it likes and then giving it to it. It's like marriage, right? You figure out what they like and you give it to them and you end up with a happy marriage. Although I'm twice divorced, so maybe that's not a great analogy. So that is step 2. Make content on the sites that AI likes. So now we know what terms to make content for and we know where to post it. The next problem or next question that naturally leads us to is what kind of content? Because there's a milieu of content out there. There's a lot of different things you could do, a lot of different types of things you could post. So the type of content is important. And what I did once again was spend weeks and weeks and weeks looking at different results, watching it think, and learning what types of content it likes. And I came up with a few that absolutely it loves and looks at over and over and over again. And there's one that I don't have on here, so it's I'll give you a little bonus there. The first one is listicles. Listicles are the top X products or whatever. If I continuing the example, I'd be like, what are the top freelance marketplaces or something like that? And then just write a listicle. Number 1, number 2, number 3, right? Obviously you put yours at the top and then write a full article about that. They also like comparison pages. So if you say, what is the best, I don't know, red toaster, it'll go, or not, excuse me, if you're looking to show up for the term, what is the best red toaster, it'll go look for pages where it compares the Acme red toaster to the Frigidaire red toaster. So product X versus product Y, also product alternative. So red toaster alternative or something like that. It really loves those types of pages. Then you need to come up with a consistent brand phrase. And there's lots of different ways you can go about that. But one that I found that it really likes is that thing that all the lazy ass consultants put on their Facebook and LinkedIn profiles. Brand X is a Y that helps niche in time frame. You want to repeat that everywhere. The homepage, the about page, everywhere you can think of. You repeat that phrase over and over and over again because you want to drill it into the LLM's neural network that is what that is about. And that way it will understand. Then you want to use brand/organization schema. It really understands that. You want to feed it as much information in that schema as possible. If you don't know what schema is, ask at the end. The one that I said that I would include that's not here is knowledge base stuff. So if you have a support desk, you have a good opportunity there. But if you don't, you should put a knowledge base on your site with a bunch of questions, a bunch of information about your site in an easy to read format. So there's that. And then answers to questions on forums. So what is the best SEO marketplace? You would go ask that question on a forum and answer it. So spend time and asking and answering questions on particularly Reddit and Quora, but other high level forums and even niche related forums. So those are the types of content that the LLMs like. And speaking of questions, this one's a bit off topic, but I wanted to include it as well. I got inspired to work on this from Jasper Neeson, but I found that this works well as questions and answers. And this is how you can get into Google AI Overview. I've only really tested it on branded stuff, but I'm sure it works other ways as well. So you ask a question and then you immediately answer the question. And then that's one of the things that triggers it. And you'll notice the sources that it pulled are my help desk, from my terms of service, and then again from the help desk. So that's why it's important to have that data on your site. But ask the question in this format and answer it. Write the question in your content and follow it directly. So does Legiit use Payoneer? Yes, Legiit has Payoneer as a withdrawal method because that makes it super easy for it to understand. This is also one of the ways you get featured snippets. Okay, so you want to post that on your site, on the blog, and an about page, on your help desk, on your data, whatever. Then you can also post it on Reddit, Twitter, LinkedIn, Medium, so on, all the things that we mentioned before. So that is GEO in action. Step number 3, content structure. Okay. So far we've got figure out what terms it uses to come up with its answers. We've got figure out what sites it looks at for those terms. And then we've got the types of content that works for it. Now, the next thing that I found, which has kind of already been revealed in some of the sources, but it's important anyway, and it's something you should be doing for your traditional SEO. Will we be calling that trad SEO? Anyway, and that is brand entities. Like I said, to me, this was super obvious. Come on. But because it's part of my traditional SEO strategy anyway, but it's still super important. You want to feed the LLMs as much information about your brand as you possibly can by building out as many branded entities as you possibly can. What do I mean by branded entities? A branded entity is Wikidata. If you don't know what Wikidata is, there's lots of high authority wiki sites out there that contain data that will help it understand. Social media profiles, not just the big ones, but you need those too. You know, Facebook, X, Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and whatever other one I'm forgetting. But you also need to put content on those. I know that's going to scare some of you that you actually have to make content, but you do. Write content that answers those questions. Write content that addresses those search terms. Write content everywhere. Put the question in the title. Put the answer in the body if it's that type of format. But content everywhere. It also, and I hate these sites. I think they're the goddamn devil. But review sites like Trustpilot or Yelp work really, really well. They trust those sites. I don't know why. I think they suck. I think most people will agree with that, but they do. So we have to accept the world the way it is instead of wishing the world was the way we want it to be. Then blog posts actually work really well, and particularly blog posts that fill the type of content that I mentioned before. Videos work really well. Now, here's a thing that I need to mention. LLMs cannot read the content inside video. At least OpenAI can't, or excuse me, at least Anthropic can't. And I know that because the CISO of Anthropic told me so. So it can't. So you need to transcribe them, and you need to put keyword rich descriptions so that it'll understand it. And then forum profiles. And I don't mean the 100 forum profiles that you can get on a website. I mean Reddit profiles and things like that, Quora and so on. Build these out and keep them active, and you will treat the LLM like a fat guy at a buffet, okay? You will keep them fed and keep them happy, so they'll keep coming back for more. And just to show you a couple of examples, this is Legiit. You can see I just searched Legiit. We get our YouTube, we get our X, we get our Facebook, we get our app on the Apple App Store, we get a Quora answer. So this is why it's important that we build those out. This is Google, but because that's the easiest way to show it. But if you look in the results in the LLMs, you'll see a similar thing. It will use these sources. And it also works for my personal brand because it helped me show up in the search box there. I mostly just wanted to show that off. So that is GEO in action, step number 4, branded entities. Now, before we move on to number 5, I want to point out that everything we've done so far is pretty much standard SEO. I mean, there's a little bit of twists on how you get the information, but really all we're doing is making content on high authority sites. It's really nothing groundbreaking. Now, you have to do it at volume, and you have to do it, make sure you're not lying in your content and things like that, but it's working, and it's nothing fancy. You know what I mean? It's nothing, there's no secret to it. And I bring that up because, one, you should have been doing this shit anyway. So that was how I accidentally started showing up, and that was how I poured gasoline on the fire once I realized that this is what worked. But the other reason I bring it up is because the next thing I'm going to show you is a little more black hat, a little more high tech. And I just know that people are going to fixate on this rather on doing the fundamentals. And I don't want you to do that because I want you to succeed. Okay. The next one is number 5, and that is an experimental factor. I made that image with AI. I think it turned out pretty well. But this is something that I have seen inconsistent, but not disqualifying evidence that you can influence the LLMs by doing. And that is a process called RLHF, reinforcement learning from human feedback. The idea is that by asking through the API, by the way, by asking certain questions in different ways and associating it with certain brands or keywords, it will influence AI answers through RLHF. It's inconsistent and it takes massive scale to do it, but it does have at least a small impact. So I did find that this works. So for example, this is an example. You would type in, what is the best SEO marketplace? And the LLM might list, I don't know, 4 or 5 options. And then you would reply, user, I think Legiit should be on the list. And the LLM will be right. We'll say, you're right, because it always tells you that you're right. Legiit offers, and then it'll list stuff about Legiit. And then you have thousands and thousands and thousands of conversations like that through the APIs to influence the engine. Now, the API is its own thing, and it's beyond the scope of this, but I have done it. I have seen it have a slight impact. So take from that what you will. So like I said, I've been testing this at massive scale via automation. The results are encouraging enough to continue testing, but they aren't conclusive that it works or that it's worth the amount of effort that it's going to take. But I wanted to be transparent with you, but I also didn't want to sell this like it's a thing that you can do or that you should do. It's the extra once you've done everything else. So that is GEO in action, step number 5, RLHF, reinforcement learning through human feedback. So now that we've gone through all 5 steps, let's look at some results. After researching and testing and implementing this, what were the results I got? In the last 90 days, we've gotten 4,516 visitors from ChatGPT alone, and our brand visibility has skyrocketed. And further, they're not just clicking blog posts, they're actually going to our category pages, our commercial intent pages, our homepage. And ChatGPT has actually become our 3rd highest direct referral source the last 90 days after Google and Facebook. So like I said, last 90 days, and this is as of last week, but it's 4,516 clicks directly from ChatGPT. And that's just the ones that Clicky can pick up. It's probably more than that. So we went from 40 a year ago to 4,500 this year. And that was with me having to learn it. Now that I know how to do it and I can push this shit at scale, next year at this time, it'll probably be 40,000 or more. Who knows? And funny thing, I mentioned our brand awareness, our brand visibility had skyrocketed. I told you I did this presentation at a conference last week. And as I was waiting for my turn to speak, I actually got this message from our one of our support folks. And he said, a new member reached out saying they found Legiit after asking ChatGPT which site is the best for beginners. And it found us. I thought that was incredible because I was literally waiting to go talk about that. So I don't know. I just felt like that was a good anecdote to include. So, and you might be thinking, that's great, Chris. You have Legiit and you did it. Well, to me, one test is not good enough to prove that something works. This was just one example. I have repeated this over and over across dozens of sites with consistent success in increasing traffic and brand visibility via GEO, generative engine optimization. I don't know how that got in there, but I've also built a bunch of tools that we use internally to make this easier. I've vibe coded a bunch of tools to find the prompts, to structure the content, to answer the questions, to influence it, and to even track it. So that is GEO in action. Rank in search engines for the terms the LLMs tell you to rank for. Make content on the sites that AI likes. Proper content structure, which we talked about. Branded entities, which you should be doing anyway. And RLHF. So let me ask you this. Over the last, I guess we've been here for about 30 minutes. I can't see my notes. Over the last 30 minutes or so, we've discovered the 5 exact moves that took Legiit from 40 clicks to 4,500 over the last 90 days. And these are steps anyone can replicate. You saw proof, you saw screenshots, you saw the whole thing. So now you've got a choice. You've got 2 roads that you can follow. You can go home and try to reverse engineer everything I talked about, implement it yourself, write every prompt, test every sequence, pray you didn't miss anything, or You can plug into a proven engine where all of that heavy lifting is already done, supported, and updated regularly, so you can focus on growth and not guesswork. And that's so what I want to do is introduce you to something that we started this week called the Automation and Marketing Society. What this is a school community that myself and 3 of my colleagues have put together to help bring high quality actual marketing tactics and community together into things that we're actually doing in our businesses and seeing success with and sharing it with you. Okay. Some of the modules that we have or automate, we have this, obviously we have the start, and then we have AI training. We have automation training. We have GEO, which I just covered. I go into depth. I actually show you how to do the things. You get all the tools that I talked about. There's Google Sheets mastery from one of our teachers. We got local SEO, organic SEO, sales and agency, webinar replays, and anything else that you ask for. So inside, basically, you're never guessing. The second you log in, you're going to see all 9 of these step-by-step tracks, each one designed to stack revenue building skills in exactly the right order. There's this, like I said, there's a 15-minute crash course, so you know how to use the community, how to find stuff, so you're productive on day 1. There's AI training that helps you master ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and their prompts, their frameworks, and so on. There's automation training using N8N and Make and maybe Zapier that cut 5 to 10 hours out of your week just by implementing those. There's GEO training, which is basically what we just went through, but more in depth and with the tools that I made to automate it. There's Google Sheets mastery, which turns spreadsheets into dashboards, mini apps, and gives you huge advantages in SEO. I saw Brian give a presentation on this and I was blown away. There's local SEO, which is how we dominate the map pack and generate phone calls on autopilot. There's organic SEO, which is proven page 1 tactics that still work. Basically from the absolute master who we'll get to in just a minute. We got sales and agency training, which will show you how to start, grow, and scale your agency, price it, fulfill it, all the cool stuff. And then we have weekly webinars. And as a matter of fact, I have to do one in about 2.5 hours where you'll get on with one of our coaches. We'll show you something and then we'll answer your questions. And these are continually updated as things change and our own tests evolve. Again, this is the stuff that we're actually doing. And by we, let me introduce you to the people bringing this to you. First of all is Gregory Ortiz. Most of you know Gregory. I don't know if you know Gregory or not, but he's somebody I've known for a long time. And I'll cover everybody's resume here in a minute. But he's a longtime veteran of SEO. He's one of the people that got me started. And then we also have Greg Morrison, who, if you are familiar with OMG, he was the coach, SEO coach in that. Most of you that are doing SEO today are doing SEO that he invented, whether you know it or not. Then we have Brian Cato, who was the #1 most requested speaker at Legiit Live last year, and he really knows the dark arts very, very well. And me. So what is included? You have full curriculum access, unlimited entry to all 9, and there's going to be more, but right now there's 9. All 9 training paths that you just saw, plus every new module release. And there's no upsells, there's no tiers, there's no pitching, there's none of that bullshit. It's just the stuff that's working for us, brought to you because we believe in helping. You get a weekly live coaching call with each of us on rotation, meaning each week one of us does a call. So if you connect better with Gregory or Greg or Brian or me, you'll get a chance to speak to them. Like I say, I cover GEO, local SEO, sales, and agency. I'm also going to put some social media marketing in there, how I launch my personal brand. Gregory will be covering automations, agency, and AI training. Greg's an absolute master at automation. At SEO Spring Training back in May, his room had people lined up out the door to see what he was talking about with his automations. Greg Morrison, the original one-man gang of SEO, is going to be doing organic SEO, PBNs, SEO testing. Greg has gotten #1 after #1 for decades on end now. Hopefully I didn't age him up too much there. Brian Cato, who will be doing Google Sheets, automation, optimizing, and lots of the cool underground hack tactics and stuff. He's just an all-around badass, and like I said, was the #1 most requested speaker at Legiit Live last year. And then you'll get to ask us anything, basically. You get screen shared solutions in real time. Yesterday, there was a gentleman in the community who said that he wanted to get started but didn't even have a website yet. I was like, well, what I did was I recorded a video of how he could make a website in about 10 minutes using AI and lovable.dev. And he went and did it, and he had his website within an hour. That's the kind of service that we bring to you. So there's a members only community inside a school. You'll get 24/7 feedback. We're very, anybody that has ever like messaged me knows I'm very responsive. I'll be even more responsive in there. You'll get peer accountability, direct DM access to the coaching team, all that stuff, all inside of school. I was skeptical about using school, but it's a pretty good product. I hate to admit it. I don't hate to admit it, but I'm surprised to admit it. And then replay library. Like I said, we do a weekly webinar every single week. So if you can't make it, the replays will be uploaded within 24 hours. I'm real particular about that because back in the day, I was in a coaching program and they never uploaded the replays and it pissed me off something fierce. So a lifetime replay library. So the real world value of this is about $3,700 a month. If you hired us or bought these courses, and your price today is $197 a month and you can cancel anytime. So don't focus on that too much just yet. I wanted to come back and go into it a little bit more. So like I said, $197 per month is, I don't think, a big ask. We certainly get more for that. I charge $1,000 an hour for consulting. But let me break it down the numbers for you just a little bit. $197 a month versus doing it alone. One decent VA is $600 a month. That right there, you've made your cost back. If you use Zapier for or Make and you use a premium plan, it's over $100 a month. 1 hour of my time, and I'm not kidding, you can go look on Legiit, is $1,000. I charge $1,000 an hour for consulting because I have a lot of things going on and I have to make it expensive. You're getting all of that, everything I showed you, plus a much better deal than that for $197 a month. And if all this did was give you one automation that saved you 5 hours a week or added 100 targeted visitors from ChatGPT or landed you one extra client, would you feel like $197 a month was worth it? I think so. That's the power that's on the table. If you want the link, it is superstarseo.com/AMS. I will put that in the various chats for you. And then I will take a breather and then we'll get into some questions. So how's everybody doing out there so far? Any questions or feedback? Did you find the presentation valuable? I got more for you, but I just need to catch my breath for a second here. All right. Moving right along. Let me find my presentation. Guy says in the group, he's a member. Where do we find out how to do this? How to do what? You mean the GEO training? There's one of the courses is literally called GEO training. But come to my webinar at 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 Eastern, and I can show you more. But yeah, I'm going to show you inside in just a minute too as well, Guy. So stick around as well. Stephen, my designated introduction guy. Perfect. I'll be there. Awesome. Looking forward to it. So let me ask some questions that I anticipate some of you having. What if I'm too busy? I get it. I'm busy. That's why I charge what I do. But Gregory's automations will give you your time back. Like, he will show you stuff that you can push a button and save 10, 15 hours a week. So really, you are losing time by not investing in this today. So check it out. Again, the link is superstarseo.com/AMS. Can I cancel? So yeah, we do allow quitters. No, seriously, there's no contracts. There's no exit fees. Cancel, you keep it till the end of the month, and then it'll cancel on its own. School handles all that brilliantly. Will this work for my niche or my business? Because my business is a special snowflake, and yeah. But the truth is, we have e-com, we have agencies, we have coaches, we have local remodelers. The GEO principles are platform agnostic. Everybody needs to be doing it. Basically, if you market online, it works for you. And you're going to get everything that we figure out in our businesses, because you can't stay boring. You can't stay static. Ashish says, spot on presentation, clear steps. He says, look like a no-brainer to me. David says, signed up, excited to be part of this group. We're excited to have you, David. Thank you for joining us. TSM Agency says, the automation interests me very much. What automations do you offer, and can it be replicated for multiple clients? Gregory handles those. I'll show you inside what we've got so far. But yeah, I mean, if they're not really... yes, basically, an automation is something you can apply to anything. So yes. And, you know, maybe we'll do another one of these with Gregory when he has some time. Can we use this for clients as a service? You mean offer GEO? Yeah, absolutely. You should be offering that. Like, I was hoping that was apparent, but yes, definitely add that. Gregory is here. Gregory is one of our coaches, actually. Not actually. He is one of our coaches, and he can maybe answer that question that TSM Agency had. The automations interest me very much. What type of automations do you offer, and can it be replicated for multiple clients? So I'm going to move on while Gregory hopefully can answer that and address the question, 197 feels high. Well, one new client or 3 affiliate commissions or one automation pays for it 10 times or 100 times over. So yeah, $197 is a bit steep. I know it's not steep. I think it's a deal, to be honest. I want to sign up for this, and I'm in it. It was my idea, and I want to sign up for it myself. So you can make that back if you take what we do and you implement it. And don't treat it like AMS TV. You actually have to do shit to make it work. But if you do shit, it will work. So there's that. Who wants to have a look inside? I can open it up and show you what it looks like. That can help answer some questions and, well, give me a chance to sell you on it some more because, you know, I want to make money. So let's take a look. Let me switch screens here a little bit. Whew, I am out of breath. Stop sharing. Share screen, window, share. All right, so let me zoom in. Gregory says, we are currently getting started with automations videos, and we're polling the community to see what type of automations they'd like to see versus assuming what automations people want. What kind of automations interest you? So at TSM Agency, if you're still on, let us know. We'll get what you need. All right, let me zoom in because of my badass widescreen curved monitors make it hard to see. You see, this is the community. We are very active. We got Andrew and different people asking questions. You know, Gregory and myself and Greg, who's one of our coaches, is offering what kind of testing do you want? Jake, who is experienced, Paul, who is, I believe he's in the roofing niche. So you can see we've only been around 2 days. Look at the interaction that we have already. It's insane. Yes, curved. More curves than your girl. Wrecked. We can check out the classroom, which I assume is what most people are interested in. Let me zoom back out. Well, let me see that. We got the Start Here module. This is just kind of walking you through where everything is, how to use it, where to find things, that sort of thing. We got AI training. This is from Gregory as well. He's getting started with AI, ChatGPT, setting API keys, creating GPTs, sitemap genie. I don't even know what that is. I need to go watch that. Buyer persona research, a logo creator, local content calendar, weekly planning assistant, getting started with Claude, Gemini. I didn't even know all this was in here. Like that's how fast things are moving. So this alone, we could probably charge that $197 a month for that. Automation training, which is what TSM Agency was asking about, but getting started, we got N8N, connecting your Google properties, how to import the blueprints, your first automation, and there'll be plenty more as time goes on because like Gregory said, we're trying to figure out what people need rather than deciding for them. We got GEO training, which is taught by me. You're gonna need all the tools that I've made to make this even easier, and I'm gonna continue to do it. I've actually got a live case study that I'm working on as well. So this is basically what we covered today, but actually like how to do it and not just what works. Google Sheets Mastery. This isn't even done yet, but Brian just does some really cool shit with this. I need to actually go and upload the rest of the videos, but again, he shows you ways to use these to leverage your local SEO and do all kinds of cool shit that you will not get anywhere else. So that's that. Local SEO. This one's from me, but we'll have others. And this kind of is my exact process to rank in maps. Local SEO, by the way, never been easier than it is right now. If you want to get one of those little green grids that everybody jizzes over, now's the time to do it. And if you follow this, you're going to get results. Let's see. Organic SEO from Greg Morrison. Greg is by far the biggest legend in organic SEO. He has a case study. He has constant testing and constant learning. Everybody that you know that does organic SEO either learned it from him or learned it from someone that learned it from him. If you disagree with me on that, you're wrong. You can see he's already got one massive case study over in here. He shows you how to do PBN setup, which, by the way, still works and works really, really well and makes your life a lot easier. And that's just the beginning. Like I said, we've only been here 2 days. Look how much you're already getting. Next up, we got, what else was we got? There's nothing in here yet because there's just not enough time. But coming soon, you'll have everything from not having an agency to having a successful agency. And then, of course, there'll be weekly webinars with myself 1 week, Gregory 1 week, Greg 1 week, Brian 1 week. And there's going to be more shit as time goes on. Not shit, but more stuff as time goes on. And then there's a calendar right now. You can see I have another webinar later today in about 2 hours. So, yeah. And, I don't know what else to say. I think this is the best info product I've ever put out. I haven't done that many. I haven't done one in years. I waited until the right time. So let's bring up the presentation again so you have the opportunity to get in. So that is pretty much it. I'm willing to take any questions. Gregory says, the cool thing about Brian is it's all in Sheets, which everyone has with a Google account for free. Exactly. And the stuff he does is like, I don't know how to properly explain. Like, I feel like I'm underselling it because I don't know how to explain it. It's so high tech. And I'm going to put the link in the chat once more, superstarseo.com/AMS. I only did a pretty link like that because it's easier to type. So, I'm out of breath. Let me share the link once more. TSM says automation is interested in. Did that get cut off? Let me look on YouTube. Let me refresh. Posting to multiple properties and scheduling content right ahead of time. ChatGPT queries at scale. I think Gregory's still here, but I'm just confident that that's something he can show you. But if he's still here, I will let him answer that. If not, I will say that I'm sure we can do that. Scale, like you mentioned. Yeah, of course. All right. I don't know what else to say. Does anybody need to see it again? Does anybody have any questions? Gregory says posting content to multiple properties is a piece of cake automation to make and share, no problem. See, just like that, done. Yamil says she used Make to do that. It saves her so much time. There you go. Always good to see you, Yamil. Fast Hippo Media. There's your free plug. Only 24 hours in the group, and I can tell the value is real. Thank you, Tim, or Fast Hippo Media. I was really excited when you signed up. I always like working with you. You are a legend. All right, I'll stick around another 5 minutes or so, but that's the link, superstarseo.com/AMS. It's the best program on the market. We're scaling up fast, and I'm excited about that because it gives me a chance to reach and help as many folks as I possibly can. I hope you enjoyed the Geo. Let me ask you this. Did everybody get something out of the training today? I wanted to give you something that was valuable that isn't just a sales pitch, because I knew I was going to sales pitch you at the end. So, and he says, I'll be active again in the group now. Wonderful. We missed you. But yeah, did everybody enjoy the Geo training? Did everybody get some value out of that? I tried to give you everything, all the steps, so you can at least take something away and go do something from this. If you're watching this on, well, wherever you're watching this, well, I don't think it's true on LinkedIn. I don't know if you can watch. Yeah, actually, yeah, wherever you're watching, you can watch this again. When next are we to come online? Still by this time? I don't know what you're talking about, Evelyn. Gregory says, fire, super hot fire, but I'm not a rapper. Hopefully somebody gets that reference. Anyone looking to learn automation in Geo should sign up. This is a no-brainer. Thank you, Yamil. Always a pleasure. All right, I'll stick around for another 3 minutes, and then I need to get to work. And then if you are signed up, you will get to see me again in about 2 hours for our first weekly webinar. So I'm real excited about this. It's something Gregory and I have been planning for, I guess, a little over 2 months. It took us May to June, July. Yeah, a little over 2 months that we got this after hanging out after hours at SEO spring training back in May. So that was a fun event. Who knows? Maybe we'll be having an AMS event next year. How long have you been doing this? I've been in SEO since 2013. And yeah, that's the end of that. I've had Legiit since 2018 and been teaching people since 2017, at least in internet marketing. I've always had a proclivity for teaching. I think I used that word right. English was not the thing that I taught. All right. 1 minute remains. Any last minute questions? Anybody on the fence and have something I can say to push you over in our direction? Let me know. If you joined late, the replay of this will be wherever you're watching it right now. So watch it again and then check out the link. It's superstarseo.com/AMS. On YouTube, I will go update the description to have this in it, as well as a pinned comment. So you'll be able to find it there. Sign up. You will not regret it. And if you do, it's Gregory's fault. No, I'm kidding. All right, few seconds left. Evelyn says, wow, nice one. Catch you later. Any upcoming live video series or any other videos? You mean on the channel here? I'm probably going to be more active now that I'm finally settled in, assuming my air conditioning gets fixed. Yeah, I don't have a particular thing. I'm going to be talking more and more about AI and GEO and AEO. So I'll probably be talking more about those things. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, we still got, if StreamYard is to be believed, we still have almost 40 people on. So I'll stick around a little bit, but it seems like it's dying down. The link is superstarseo.com/AMS. It'll take you over to a page that you'll be able to, with just a couple clicks, sign up, especially if you're already in a school community of some kind. And you'll be able to hang out with me again in about 2 hours. So it's all Chris all the time. David says, thanks again. See you soon. See you in just a few, David. But if you are watching this on YouTube, by the way, please subscribe, like, comment, share, notifications, do all the things. I'm told that if I say that, people will do it more often. I've never seen any evidence that supports that, but it's easy enough to do, kind of like llms.txt. All right. Superstarseo.com, AI, Geo. We got local SEO. We got organic SEO. We got all the things. 2 minutes remain. People are starting to dip out, so it'll probably be the end of it. But you can always find me on Facebook or wherever else, and I'll be happy to answer any other questions you may have. All right. I hope you will check out the link on your screen. But if not, I hope you got some value. Well, either way, I hope you got some value out of today's presentation. I hope you will join us and give me the opportunity to help me fulfill both our purposes. So that's it. I'll see you again soon. Will this be uploaded in entirety? I just tune in. Yeah, wherever you're watching right now, you'll be able to watch it there from the beginning in just a minute once I end the stream. So the link is superstarseo.com/AMS. Thank you so much. Most of all, figure out what you want out of life and go out and get it, because you owe it to yourself and you owe it to the world. I'll see you again soon. Peace.